ask them like, hey, are you seeing anything in the mainstream content about parenting autistic kids or disabled kids? And they were like, there's not much, and whatever there is isn't very good. Like it's
Mm,
generally like unkind to
mm,
kids like yours. Um and so then I think I reached out to you and I was like, hey, I have this one idea, but I also have a bunch of other ideas. And
yeah.
I'm have done this other type of writing. And then when I worked at In Touch Ministries, I had like internally pitched their editors and written for them a little bit for their magazine. But that was like a different thing because I was like on staff.
Yeah, it's a little easier.
And so, yeah, so then from there, and then I like randomly, while I was working on that pitch, just like messaged somebody that I saw on threads at Business Insider and like got a pitch accepted.
Wow.
And so like, and then I've mostly just had paid articles from CT and Business Insider.
Hmm.
And then I
Well, it's like
also,
once you get in there,
yeah,
it's just you have those contacts and it's just easier to pitch them.
yeah. And I just kept, yeah, I just kept like writing for both of them. And then I also started writing for a couple of blogs for like nonprofits that like
Yeah.
one is like a PDA nonprofit that like I already am really plugged into, and one was a disability ministry blog.
Hmm.
And so I just started regularly writing for them.
Well,
And
can I back up and just kind of
yeah.
ask you a couple questions, like specifically? I mean, I know like it's not like we did all that much work together,
No,
but sorry,
yeah,
go
I
ahead.
think I was gonna say I think just meeting with you like gave me a framework and some confidence, I think is
Yeah.
probably what I needed.
Yeah. And so I get you kind of were explaining it, but like you were saying you set up this time to work with me to kind of just figure out like what to do, like kind of what to do with these
Yeah.
ideas, how to move forward with them. And
Yeah.
I feel like we kind of went backwards on this. So once we kind of worked together and we had our meeting and you kind of had some advice and some action items to move forward, then you then pitched a couple of different places. And did you get any rejections at first?
Um, no, my first two pitches were accepted, which is not normal.
Not normal, but also awesome.
Yeah, it was wild. The first two pitches I sent were accepted, and then I think like the next four were rejected.
Yeah.
And then I sent pitches to the same two editors and had those two accepted.
Hmm.
And then I sent some to back to those two editors and had a few rejected by those
Hmm.
editors. And then one of those editors actually said, I like this pitch. It's not a good fit for us. And she connected me with an editor at a different publication
Oh,
and
wow,
said
that's
they
nice.
might be interested in this.
Oh,
They were
cool.
not, but she
Well,
said,
still,
pitch us again sometime.
right. That's
So,
always
but
encouraging.
like that's also not a thing I've ever heard of happening, where
Hmm.
she went, here's an email address. Send this.
Yeah, that's a good that's a an editor that's, looking out for your best interest and definitely wants you to pitch again if they like you enough to do that. The other thing that you did, I think this was right in the aftermath of us working together, was you started your Substack.
Yes, I did. Yeah. You encouraged me to start a Substack. And I work in digital marketing and I also don't like social media personally. And so the fact that like I've created this tiny Instagram account that has grown to like nearly 3,000 subscribers, and I post like once a week if I remember. Like it's painful to like record myself talking and like do
Oh
this
yeah, I don't like doing talk to camera stuff.
and like getting on Canva and designing the things and like, I had to make a template and come up with, and I've slowly like evolved from the original template that I had and I'm having more fun with it. But um I found like making carousels is less difficult, but like you encouraged me to like be consistent with my social media and also to just start a Substack.
Hmm.
And doing that, again, I don't do that consistently. Like when I was going through my divorce, I just didn't post anything for like 4 months, which is not advisable. I don't, in hindsight, if I had had the capacity,
Well, yeah, you do what you can.
but it's okay. Like I'm trying to at least make myself post something once a month. And I've been working on like I was doing a bunch of free stuff before, and can I roll that into like a paid model for Substack in the new year?
Yeah.
Like I was doing free calls and like giving away free workshops, and and like, can I,
Hmm.
if you pay this tier, you get access
Yeah.
to the free call. If you pay this tier, you'll get one free workshop a quarter or whatever. Um, but doing that, I think, has led to some cool connections. Like people have found me on Substack and asked me to like write guest posts on their blogs.
Yeah.
Like somebody in
That's
India asked me to write a guest post on a blog.
that
Um,
is
yeah.
I love how you have sort of you're kind of doing, but this is like the organic way I recommend doing it too, is like you're doing like all the things, like you're pitching articles, you're writing on Substack, you're expanding your quote brand, even though I don't really love that terminology when we're
Yeah.
talking about serious subjects. But you're doing the social media thing, like not like ruining your life over it, but you're having to spend all this time on it. But you can really see how when you put the pieces together, it all begins to add up to something, and ultimately added up to you getting a book deal too.
Right.
It's, I think it's almost like this thought of like having this optimism about what you're doing. You're just like, I don't have any expectations that this is going to go amazingly well, but I have something to say and it's important and I'm going to put it out there and say to the universe, like, do with this what you will. And it seems like it's kind of slowly come together for you in a lot of ways. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, and I also think like I didn't take it too seriously, and I didn't like put all my eggs in this basket. And I think that's something you and I talked about too, is that like if I had expected writing articles to be the thing that was going to pay my bills,
Right.
like that would have been difficult
Disappointing.
and disappointing. And so it's like, my professional background has been like digital marketing, PR. And so like I kept my marketing clients
Hmm.
and have continued to have those. And I have retainer clients that I work with every month. But then like in my spare moments, I've done this.
Yeah.
And when one of my big clients like rolled off, I didn't add on a big client that big. I added on like I filled that gap with like a couple of smaller clients, which gave me a little more flexibility
Yeah.
to experiment with this.
Yes.
And then I was able to fill in some like paid speaking gigs and some writing and some, and it didn't 100% make up that income, but it gave me some flexibility to like get
Yeah.
creative. And then I started doing some parent coaching, which did fill that gap, but also was different hours.
Yeah.
And and so it's like it allowed me room to experiment with how I spend my time.
Right. I love that. We're so similar in how I, have lots of different little things as well that are sort of making up the whole of my income. So
Yeah.
that is really neat. And also just this, I wasn't going to talk about this, but I do love the conversation about how to make it as a freelancer, like you're working for yourself and taking on clients here and there, and you really can piece it together and sort of
Yeah.
make it work for you. I mean, I think one of my biggest things is the fact that my retainer clients and things are what makes it possible for me to write things I want to write, because I then, I mean, as crazy as it sounds, like, I spend the least time on the things that make the most money. And, I spend the most time on writing that makes the least money, but that's the what's fulfilling and important. And so there are ways to piece it together so that you can make it work.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think with like the book, like I don't have an agent. I had started to, I was working on like drafting query letters and I was going to start sending them out. And then someone from IVP reached out to me.
Yeah.
And, and I have some friends who have had like publishers express interest in the stuff they're doing online, and both in and out of Christian spaces. And they have decided they want to pursue getting an agent and then following back up with those publishers. And
Mhm.
I think I'm just in a season where like that was not kind of a tenable
Well, and if it
thing.
just
And
happens, it doesn't normally happen the way that it happened for you.
yeah.
So that could be just like, well, it's happening. So I'm just
Well,
gonna,
and it's like this, and like Intervarsity Press is like a publisher I would have loved to work with anyway.
yeah.
So why would I not? you
Yeah.
know, and like a sort of a fun project I have been working on in the very small margins I have is like a fiction, a middle grades fiction.
Mhm.
That will require me to probably get an agent and have to like shop that if, you know,
Yeah.
if I ever want to like no one's ever gonna go, "Hey, have you ever considered writing a middle grades fiction about 2 kids who wanna find Bigfoot?" Right? Like, no one's ever gonna approach me and go, "We would like that," you know? So, I'm
I
gonna have
love I love
to
I love other creatives because we just have like and like we're always adding something else that we probably don't have time for.
right, right, and, like, truly, like, that's a, like, you know, it happens on my phone, kind of jumping in,
Yes.
like, waiting rooms, like
Oh man, if you can do it. I have not gotten my brain wrapped around being able to do anything like of seriousness while I'm on my phone, but if you can do it, that is
I
amazing.
can work on fiction projects and it's chaotic and
Yeah.
silly and, like and it's only because, like, I did the outline sitting at my desk,
Right. That helps. That helps.
and so then I can, like, go into, like, the outlines that I've broken into chunks and, like, tap out ideas, and then I have
Yeah,
to come
it's
back
more
to
of
my
like
desk and
yeah, if you start doing it, like, you get in the habit, you're like, "Oh, I actually can be productive if I just know
yeah.
exactly how." So, let me ask you, of course, I'm launching, the Opinion Lab right now, which is Bragworthy by Lens, essentially similar type of thing, and you know all about that, and you've had access to some of the things in there. So, what would you say to someone who maybe is thinking about joining but isn't sure? Like, how would you encourage them to register and join? Any words of encouragement?
I think the thing I would say is just do it because they're probably further along than they realize. Like, that was
Mm,
the thing for me was that I didn't realize how much I already could do and how capable I already was, and I think connecting with you, getting access to the tools, the templates, the skills and things, like, I realized, like, a lot of the ideas that were in my head just needed help, like, finding the structure, getting organized a bit, and then once I got, like, my first piece accepted, I think the confidence that it gave me, the opportunity to connect with other people, to share my ideas with other people,
mhm.
the pitch sprints that you offer too are, like, one of my favorite things.
Oh, I need to do
Like,
that again.
I loved signing up for those, like, I've done 2
Yeah,
of them. I've had a pitch accepted from one of those too,
yeah.
that just, like, getting to log on for an hour and do a Zoom call, you know, and just, like, I think the community is really is just as effective as having some of the skills and the tools and the templates and, you know, on the access to all the content that you have, and then being a part of the Facebook group and the community that, like, exists beyond
Mhm.
the I'm losing the word, the
Just
workshop?
like the
The
course.
course?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people don't realize how wired for community humans are.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah,
Intentional community, because social media feels like community, but it's not intentional. But I think,
right.
like, having intentional community and having that kind of support, um, really makes a big difference. And so, like, being able to, like, message you, like, "I got another pitch accepted," or like, "Hey, can you
Yeah.
take a look at this?" Like, that makes a big difference. Even if all you say is like, "I think this is great, this is solid, you should send it."
Yeah. Gives you the confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, I think that's what I've been trying to stress is like there's something about like just like making that decision and being like, I'm going to do this and knowing that like if you feel stuck, like you don't have to be stuck because
Right.
like I know for me, like that's why I love having my coaches. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like if I feel like I'm totally just don't know what to do, I can just be like, help me, and she'll help me. So that is really great. Well, thank you so much.